Hello, America. My name is Merle Jarrett. I hate to give you that little pause right there in the middle, but the fact of the matter is we need to talk. I want to reach out to every citizen in this country who feels like they're, well, disenfranchised. Every citizen in this country has been disenfranchised. We've all been lied to. Now it's time that we find out the truth. First of all, I want to point out, as I'm going to point out in now and forever in the rest of my videos, that any incorrect actions taken could result in the suspension of the Constitution of the United States of America. I had to take some notes because I tend to become impassioned and I want to say everything all at once. So I have to give myself guidelines I have to stay within. Let's understand that I am not this tie-wearing jerk that you see in front of you. I'm actually, in fact, a blue-collar employee. I work hard, I get dirt under my fingernails, and I love it. The fact of the matter is I have a lot of education, but none of it means anything in this country today because our children don't. And it's not just white children or black children, it's all children, with the exception of privately schooled children, which of course leaves a void for the rest of us. I'm going to try to stay within the lines of what I've written here. So understand that when I look away from the camera, it's only because I probably can't read my own handwriting half the time. I wrote it rather angry, so I tried to remain patient, and I'll try to remain patient for the duration of this. Knowing citizens of the U.S., it is each and every citizen's duty to do one thing, and one thing only, and that is to vote. The fact of the matter is we can rock this country by rocking the vote. I'm asking you to vote, not for a candidate, not for a party, but to vote no confidence. A no confidence vote and a majority carry changes the path of the elections in this country. It wipes the slate clean of all of the candidates that are before us. One says, oh, well, why would you want to do that? You're throwing away your vote. That's what your government will tell you. That's what these political analysts will tell you, but you're not. What it does is it wipes the slate clean of all candidates. There are no presidents to choose from. That means the Republicans now have to scramble. They probably already know who they want to run. They probably already know who they want to have sit in office. There are people who are turning out for these elections. They're all affiliated with Skull and Bones. They all give this little sign. This isn't the sign of the devil. This is the sign of the Illuminati. This is part of that group. So Ronnie James Dio, when you started this for rock and roll, whatever you thought you were doing, you were probably bringing around the rest of your Magic 12 buddies to come around and buy your tickets and make you a star. So if you're affiliated with this bunch, so sad, buddy, because we're going to try to do something about all that. We're Americans and we've had enough. We need to change this governmental system. When a bank tells us what our money is worth, and the Constitution tells us that only the members of our Congress may set the ways, means, and values of our dollar, there's a little conflict there. So America, we need to change this, and voting no confidence can do that. It also opens up the door to a 3, 4, or 5-party group that all Americans will have the chance to choose from. I have my own personal votes. When I was young, I was a Republican, just like this tie, conservative, thinking that it was the only way, simply because that's the way I was brought up. My dad's a Republican. My grandmother was a Democrat. The fights raged for hours between them about who was right and who was wrong. I don't believe in either party being right or wrong. I believe they're both wrong. When I have to choose between a Skull and Bones candidate and a Skull and Bones candidate, they both have the same agenda. When two people belong to the same club, that means they both have the same agenda. One of them is going to tell you one thing, another group's going to tell you another. I'm an American. That makes me black. That makes me Chinese. That makes me Indian. That makes me Catholic. That makes me Greek Orthodox. That makes me you. That makes me concerned. Because as many walls as they've tried to set in this nation to divide us, to show us how different we are from each other, we still have one thing in common. It's our one common goal system. It is the fact that we are all Americans. We all live and die under the rules of the Constitution, but apparently our governmental system does not. They would subterfuge you into believing that there are so many other things going on, but the fact of the matter remains that everyone needs to change their path. And it's not just you, and it's not just me, it's my neighbors, It's everyone who's afraid. This is Katrina. This is September 11th. This is World War II. This is World War I. Our governments try to use war, I feel, as population control. And the fact of the matter is it's probably not a bad idea for population control, because eventually we just get too calm and we begin to take up space. But it's a sad note in history when we have to do that. And I'm getting off my paper, which I said I'd try to stick to. Well, I said I'd try, but I didn't promise. So, in by voting no confidence, we turn the tide. It'll be the vote heard around the world. It'll be the one thing that says, hey, you know what? Americans are paying attention. Americans are listening. They are voting no confidence. And when the majority carries and no confidence, it only means a little bit of time for all these parties to scramble and try to find new candidates. A lot of them will already have them, like I said. They already know who they want in office, and if they're skull and bones, we probably don't want them in office. The Illuminati, the Magic 12, the Freemasons, Skull and Bones, these people are not working in our best interests. They say, oh, you know, they're good groups, and you know, the Rotary Clubs and the Republicans. Well, I've got news for you. Diebold and the ESS, it's been proven, when you have 16,000 negative votes, that means every person who votes, the first person who votes, counts it up to 15,999. And it proceeds like that until it finally gets to 0, and then votes start counting. Because these computers aren't set up to count negative votes. So what we need to do as a nation is we need to turn out for these votes. I do. I've turned out for every vote, with the exception of the last one. Because when I'm sick of choosing between the less of two evils. I want to pick Americans. I want to pick people who vote. I want to pick people who turn out. I want to pick people who work for the people. And not for the government. And not for corporations. Mr. Bush has so much Halliburton money in his pocket, it's amazing. Diebold was one of the largest contributors to Mr. Bush's campaign. I'm not even sure if he's president. I'm not even sure if we can call him president given his current course of action. But the fact of the matter is we just, as people, we're scared. We're all scared. We shouldn't be scared. We're Americans. And that doesn't mean to be a gutsy statement shot around the world for Europeans. We love our European brothers. Without Europe, there would be no United States. We can thank the French for helping us to win the war. The Revolutionary War, that is. We can thank thousands of people, Chinese, for building our railroads. And to the American Indian, I'm sorry. I don't know how many of my ancestors were involved, but I'm sure there were a few. But this isn't a black thing. This isn't a white thing. This isn't a Chinese thing. This is an American thing. If you're capable of voting, I want to persuade you to register this time. Because when we as a majority carry, men and women, and that's all we really are in America, the color divisions that were created by our grandparents, we can tear down. I have 2 kids of my own, one 7 and one 12. I need my children, all of America's children, to know what a truly free nation is. We don't have to have a revolution. But the fact of the matter is, if we rock the vote in this way, it'll be a vote heard around the world. It'll be a vote that sends a message to all governments that have the power to vote. Guess what? We're not going to take it anymore. We're not. We're tired of it. We don't want to be angry. We don't want to be upset. We want to live our lives. We want to go out and do things. The fact of the matter is we're not allowed to anymore. Our rights are restricted. You're going to say, oh, my rights aren't restricted. No, your rights are limited. Okay? With the suspension of the writ of habeas corpus, anyone can be arrested anywhere at any time, including me. And if I'm arrested for making this video, and my account suspended as a result of it, I will have truly enjoyed and relished my freedom of speech at this moment. Because this is what I have to say. I have a challenge for a few scientists, a few doctors. I need some things looked at, and that'll be over the course of the next few videos. But the fact of the matter is we need to get the facts out, America. We need to vote no confidence. And if no confidence doesn't work, then we need to stand down from our system. And what that means is every American needs to stop. If you drive truck, you stop.